What is up, boys and girls? This is Thr33X back on the mic once again, and this is going to be my very first weapon review for Destiny. I'll be doing a couple of these for some of the particular weapons in my arsenal that maybe you might have or might not have and may want to be interested in. This video we're going to talk about the little number in my hunter's hands called Red Death. Of course, this was the exotic weapon that was for sale this past weekend from Thr33X, the Agent of the Nine. Alternatively, it can be obtained as a random reward from high-level missions such as the Raid and, of course, the Nightfall. That, of course, is random, so you might get another exotic, but we're going to focus on this one here because it is, in fact, my first exotic weapon on Destiny. So I'm pretty excited about having it. It's kind of in the same category as the Hard Light auto rifle exotic. I don't have Hard Light, but from what it is that I was told about it, when you first obtain the weapon, it's not all that. But once you start getting upgrades, then you start seeing the weapon pay dividends. That is pretty much the same idea with Red Death. Obviously, it's a pulse rifle, so it fires in 3-round bursts, meaning that it is definitely a precision weapon. If you are accustomed to using exclusively auto rifles and are used to laying down streams of fire, then you are definitely not going to appreciate what it is that Red Death or pulse rifles in general bring to the dance. Like I said, it's a precision weapon. You have to be using it with the intention of causing precision damage, that being headshots to anything that isn't a Vex. And if you are good at firing headshots and getting precision damage, then Red Death will pay its dividends, especially when you start getting upgrades for it. Because right from the jump, it works pretty much just like any old pulse rifle. Doesn't have the highest rate of fire, but it more than compensates for that once you start getting those damage upgrades. And of course, the main talents of the weapon itself, in particular the Red Death talent, which heals your Guardian for every kill that you score with the weapon. I have managed to upgrade the weapon up to that point, so the only other upgrades I need are the 3 tiers of damage upgrades, which require the Ascendant Shards. But once you get it to the point where you have unlocked Red Death's Red Death talent, you will start to really appreciate what it is that this weapon can do, especially if you are a gunslinger hunter. If you'll notice, you've seen at times on the bottom left of the screen the 2 perks that you get for Gunslinger, being the Chain of Woe and the Gunslinger's Trance. Those 2 in combination with Red Death make you into nearly an invincible precision damage headshot machine. Of course, Chain of Woe for every precision kill gives you fast reload time, and Gunslinger's Trance gives you for every precision kill an increase in stability, meaning your weapon will kick back less recoil. So you put those 2 together, which can stack on top of each other, as you can see, along with the Red Death's ability to heal you for each kill, and you can lay down a lot of precision fire and not have to worry about taking a great deal of damage. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean that you're going to go running into a firefight Leroy Jenkins style, because that's not what pulse rifles are meant for. It's meant for you to stay back, pick your shot, and lay down as much precision damage as possible. And that's pretty much the same idea with the other precision weapons out there, such as the hand cannon and the scout rifle. Red Death, however, offers the same type of impact as hand cannons, and scout rifles. Without question, it is the hardest hitting pulse rifle in the game. And that's taking into consideration the fact that Bad Juju, the other exotic pulse rifle, is a little borked, and Bungie is going to be buffing that in the very near future. It's still not going to have the same type of pop that Red Death has, specifically on the fact that Bad Juju has a higher rate of fire, and plus it has the perk that lets you fire it in full auto. The way that they trade off that type of differentiation in weapons is that weapons with higher rates of fire have lower impact ratings. So they fire more bullets, but the bullets do less damage cumulatively. Whereas Red Death has a higher impact, but a slower rate of fire. It's pretty much like a little less than a 1 second delay between squeezes of the trigger. And with a 27 round clip times 3 bullets per burst means you get 9 trigger pulls per magazine with Red Death. So knowing that makes it a whole lot easier for you to plan and line up your shots, because you know you have 9 pulls of the trigger to work with to get as much damage to the squishy parts of your enemies as possible. And that's realistically the way that you want to use Red Death specifically, but that's also a pretty effective way to use any pulse rifle, knowing the fact that you get those 3 round bursts, to know how many rounds you can lay down before it's time for you to step back, reload, and regroup. If I'm going to give Red Death a number rating, I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. It's not the most dominant exotic out there, obviously, compared to such weapons as the Suros regime, but it does its job if you know what job it is supposed to do, which is precision damage. You're not going to use this as a spray and pray, lay down a wall of bullets type of weapon. You are going to use this as a stand back, find your spot, and lay out as much damage as possible to one single target weapon, particularly precision damage, headshots, and body shots for the Vex, as I said before. And that makes it kind of a specialized exotic. You know, it's not going to be a workhorse for a lot of people. It's going to be my workhorse, considering the fact that, like I said earlier, it's the only exotic weapon I have. And the other weapons I have are going to be hand cannons and auto rifles, but I want to use an exotic, so I'm going to be using Red Death for the foreseeable future. And it's definitely starting to shine on me. It's starting to pay its dividends with the upgrades intact. And that's when you really start to see where the exotic weapons stand out amongst the others in the game. So that's my final synopsis on Red Death. It is a solid weapon, a precision weapon. The pros are obviously its damage output. It has great impact for being a pulse rifle. Weapons that are not known for having high impact ratings. Smooth handling when aiming, and especially when aiming down sights. It's really quick. There's also a perk on the weapon that gives you an increase in that. The bloodstained finish, of course, looks hella awesome. It's really a badass looking weapon, especially with the bayonet that unfortunately you can't use, but what can you do? And as I said before, the great level up abilities that improve on the aiming and handling of the weapon, and of course the Red Death perk itself that gives you healing for each kill, precision kill that is. The cons: slow rate of fire, obviously that's going to be its biggest downside there, and slow reload time in combination, which means you'll have to take cover a lot when reloading this weapon, unless you're a gunslinger and you have the Chain of Woe and the Gunslinger's Trance active, that will alleviate all of that trouble for you. So, solid PvE weapon. I've yet to use it on PvP in the Crucible because everybody's still using the freaking Suros and shotguns and all kinds of auto rifles. I'm going to wait for Bungie to nerf those as they said they would in a future patch before I take it into the Crucible and see how it fares against human opponents. So that's going to do it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it informed you and educated you on the Red Death, if you are able to obtain it, or if you have it and don't know if you should shard it or not. Give it a chance. That'll do it for this particular review. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel for more. Until next time, this is 3X signing off. See ya!